it's Ashley here from Paper&Twine and welcome to day 31 of Christmas in July. We have made it, guys. I have made it. Oh my word. Today, oh my goodness, this project has been a long time in the making and this is a prototype I'm not entirely happy with. I need magnets that are bigger than the ones that I've got, and a little bit stronger. Yes, anyway, I have made a pencil case. And it holds 24 pencils, and the construction has been quite complicated. I've gone ahead and done some prep. I've done this for my Lavinia workshop to take my watercolour pencils that I need to take. You can see this little drawer slides in here. This comes up. I've put these Velcro dots on and that folds over to close it. So you get the idea. Now, during the last month, we have made some reinforced boxes. So I'm not going to do that little bit with you again. This is the drawer that slides in. And for this, you will need a piece of card that is 28 by 16 centimetres. And you score on all four sides at 2.5 and 5. That is that. Now, this is the bit that has been giving me a lot of grief. This is the sleeve that the drawer fits into. And for this, you need a piece of card that is 35 centimetres by 19.5 centimetres. Just a smidge over those. So 35.2 millimetres, 19.7 millimetres or thereabouts. And you are going to score on the long side at 2.5 and 8.5, and you flip it over and do 2.5 and 8.5 again. On the short side, you are going to score at 2.5, 8.5, 11 and 17 centimetres, and you cut away the corners, the 3 rectangles in each corner. You will end up with this shape. I'm just finding my scissors just to do the last one on here with you, and then you cut and notch as you would normally. Now this is going to make a box that is 2.5 centimetres wide by just over 6 centimetres tall. So I'm doing that there. I'm going to cut a lot of this away. So I've cut my 2 rectangles there. This is my 3rd rectangle. This is the 4th rectangle, but I've cut a lot of that away and I'm just notching here like so. Then you put tape on these, which I will do off camera. So I've done that, and it is just a case now of assembling. Again, as with all reinforced boxes, the more care you take over the assembly, the neater your finished box is going to be. So I'm doing these little bits first, these side tabs. You do want to try and get this as correct as you can. You want a 90-degree angle as best you can, and I am not very good at this. I will be quite transparent. So I will be transparent. My makes are not perfect. I am not a professional. I do this for pleasure, and yes, there are mistakes in all of the things that I've made over the last 31 days. And if you are picked as one of my 3 winners, I hope that you will forgive me. So bringing this in here, and just trying to make that as neat as possible. You know, I've said many times I'm not the #1 fan of red liner tape, but I think for this type of construction it is really good to have because it is an immediate grab, which is what you want. And again, just having those reinforced edges just makes everything look so much neater. Very close again. I don't know what I have done to my setup. Before I make another crafting video, I really need to sort it out, don't I? Right, so let's get that in there like so. And this like this. And what I should say about the drawer, the tray for this box, I did punch a thumb notch in. Right, that's the red liner backing off. Let's see if we can try and make this square. And this is where now, hopefully, our tray should slide into the box. Yes, and we've got a lovely snug fit. So you can get approximately 24 pencils in there. I think I've got 24 pencils and a fine brush. Now, for the wrap bit, you need a piece of card, the same colour as everything else that you've used, and you need it to be 20 centimetres by 18.5 centimetres roughly. So 18.5 centimetres for our box to sit on this way. So it's just very slightly bigger than our enforced what's the word I'm looking for? Tray box. And then I find it easier if I do this. So I'm lining up the edge of my card and I am folding over to get my first score line, and then I'm folding over again to get my second, where I'm going to burnish, pinching it so I've got a nice tight fit, and then over again, and that should just give us a nice finish. And then it's a case of scoring. So what I like to do then is bring in my scoreboard and score those lines. So what I like to do is line up on my 15 and score down. That will give me a straight edge to burnish, like so, and then I can follow that crease that I've made. And if I get my first one right, I can then fold my paper over and get the other ones right. Like so. Hopefully that will fit. And it does just about. Yes, that will do. So I can take my scoreboard out of the way, and now it's a case of deciding how you're going to decorate it. You could use paper. So you need for your matten layers 2 pieces that are 18 by, you actually need 3 pieces that are 18 by 5.5. And 4 pieces that are 18 by 2. You could use patterned paper, but we're going to make a background together. Let's just pop that in there. Right, so I've got some of Hazel's Mixed Media Artist card here, or media artist card. I'm not quite sure what she calls it. And I'm going to play with some of these powders that I recently bought. So I've got golden yellow, I've got orchid, and I've got stormy skies. And I'm not going to have any focal images on this. I'm going to have just an abstract pattern, I think, using some of Hazel's stamps. Now I'm going to go in lightly with Stormy Sky. And look, I've got some on my paper already. Orchid, which is this lovely pinky purple colour. And I'm going to spray my paper a bit. And then I'm going to spray my block. And you'll notice I haven't added any of the yellow yet, because I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to do that or whether I'm going to spray with something else. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly kiss random areas of the card, because I think I want some white space. And what I'm going to do with this piece that I didn't do with my other one, I'm going to cut the whole, I'm going to decorate the whole piece. Ugh, that was dangerous, I've just spent that. I'm going to decorate the whole piece, and then I'm going to cut it to the measurements that I want. I'm going to add a bit more of this. That is not what I wanted to do, but it will have to do. And yes, I'm going to leave that at that now and come in and mop up. Put the lid on these because we do not want any accidents. I am quite accident prone at the moment. So, ooh, liking that very much. Now, I'm going to bring in this smaller block because I have got a big empty space here. So I'm going to do a little bit of blue. And a little bit of the purple. And these are very regal, festive colours, but wouldn't it be lovely to receive this, or, you know, give it to a crafty friend? And you don't have to put pencils in it. You could put sewing threads, you could put needles. There we go. A little bit more colour than I wanted, but never mind. Let's not waste what's on the block. I've got a little bit there. Little offcut, that will come in for something. Right, there we go. Yes, I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to add the yellow. I'm going to keep that as is, and I'm going to dry this off camera. So in the interests of time, I sped up the stamping, inking, whatever, and I've just sprayed off camera the fossilised amber distress mica spray, just to give a little bit of gold, which is a nod to the festive season. And again, obviously you use whatever you've got in your stash, whatever colours you like. If you're making this for somebody, make it in colours that you know that they will like. I've just done this as well. It's a bit heavy handed there, but never mind, it is what it is. So I'm going to just cut these down now to my pieces. I'll just remind you, you need 3 pieces that are 18 by 5.5 and 4 pieces that are 18 by 2. If you want your pieces to line up, like inside, if I just show you on this one, if you want them to line up, then cut them accordingly. In fact, I might do that. Yes. So I'm going to cut to 18 to start with here. 18 centimetres, which means I'm cutting off quite a lot of that, but we can keep that for something else. And what I thought was, if I feel like something needs a bit more interest, I can add it as I go. So I'm going to cut the rest off camera now. So there are my pieces, and I just want to go around the edge of each of them now with a little bit of this turquoise colour, just to, I don't want the purple to be quite as dominant as it is. And I decided I would use my Studio Light inks. I think on the Lavinia one I used oxides. No, I didn't. I used just simply the little sprinkles actually. And then I stamped in a mixture of oxides and VersaFine Clair. I'm actually quite enjoying using the VersaFine Clair. So that might be something to invest in a few more colours, particularly the less grungy colours, the ones that are a bit more, I don't know, pretty for flowers and things. I think this would be fabulous. Did I do that? Yes. Now you see, I added a bit of extra interest here, but you can see that that follows on from that. And on this one, I added another fern because it was a little bit bare. So there we are. That will just make that pop a little bit. And you don't need to see me glue down. You know how to glue. So I'll be back in a tickety-boo. Before I stick the top piece on the box here, I am going to glue this in carefully. You see, not perfectly made at all, and I made a mistake scoring here, so I'm putting that on the bottom and just lining up so that I've got roughly the same either side, just making sure that that folds over. Just going to hold that in place for a little bit. You don't need to see me do that. I'll be back when I've glued the top on. So there we have it. All I need to do really is put on the Velcro. But I think, in all honesty, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it blank so that if you've got magnets at home, you can put your own magnets on and it will close much more nicely than the Velcro. This is all that I've got left from a sheet of A4. It really is worth doing a whole sheet at a time, particularly when you're doing a big project. And then I'll just talk through very quickly the stamps that I've used. They're all from Hazel Eaton's second collection, I think. More for the girls, more for the boys. What was this one? This was all about the girls, which was the first stamp set. I don't think I used anything from that, to be honest. And this one is, used the little tiny dots from here, and obviously this one, this is Circles Medley, which I think was from the first collection. So just to show you that this opens, that goes like that, that closes, and there we have it. You could tie something round if you wanted to, but I'm really pleased with that. I cannot tell you the headache that I've had. I did think about putting this on, but no, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to leave it as is, and if you want to embellish it further, you can do. I just love all the different colours in it. Anyway, that is the end of Christmas in July. I will be back tomorrow at roughly 3 p.m. doing a summary of what we've made over the last month and giving you details of how you can win a prize and what those prizes are going to be. So do come back tomorrow, and then I promise I won't be on air until, the 3rd of August when I do my tag, and then not again till the 10th of August. Do take care. Thank you so much for supporting me. Even if you've only just watched 3 seconds of one video, I do value you all so much. Take care. Bye now.